It's time for the NewsX Business World panels on the Indian economy. As we always, of course, through the lockdown and till date have been debating about what is the current state of the Indian economy and how do we get growth back on track. Joining us as always a special panel. We have Rishabh Khanna, founder Surasa, live with us. Karthik Singhal, director O2 Cure, is also joining us live. Ramandeep Arora, co-founder and CEO Advisor, is live with us. Kavita Jha, CEO and co-founder Kicksar, is joining us live on the broadcast. And Dr. Anurag Batra, Chairman and Editor-in-Chief Business World and Exchange for Media, is live with us as well. Welcome all of you and thank you for being with us. Let me begin with you first, if I can, Kavita Jha. Now, Kavita, in your opinion, what is the current, how much of an impact has the lockdown and the pandemic had on your sector, on your business? As an entrepreneur, how tough or how easy has it been the last few months for you?
You will have to unmute yourself, Rishabh.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anurag. Anurag, when the COVID-19 really started, with the fear in the market and almost everybody having no idea about where is the world going, the business, of course, suddenly went down. However, what really happened after a couple of weeks?
Okay. We seem to be just having some technical difficulty there. We will just try and get Rishabh back in just a second. Rishabh Khanna, of course, is also part of the panel with us on this edition of the NewsX Business World panels on the Indian economy. We are, of course, decoding the current state of the economy.
For our industry...
Yeah, Rishabh is back with us. Go ahead, Rishabh.
Yeah, so for our industry, for teacher education specifically, it was a dip for the first couple of weeks and then it started going up. And as I mentioned, we are into teacher international qualifications, so teachers really wanted to get a lot of international skill set. And it kind of came up for us. So EdTech, as everywhere, for us as well, it became a boon instead of a bane. So last 100 days have been good.
Training teachers is also noble because it gets them.
Okay, Dr. Batra is, we're just having some technical trouble there with Dr. Batra. We're just going to try and get him back in a second as we, of course, look at this special series on the Indian economy. We are, of course, decoding, the current state of the economy. We've been speaking to various entrepreneurs week after week, just, getting a sense from them of what they make of the current situation.
With this new problems coming in, with this new COVID era coming in, post-COVID era coming in, schools and parents have realized that a complete reskilling needs to be done for the teachers. It's a new shift. And if I just talk about the business opportunity, all over the world, teachers make almost 1% of the population. There are 77 million teachers around the world, so around 9 million in India. Yeah, those are the exact numbers. So that means that out of 7.7 billion people around the world, around 77 million need retraining.
Okay. Right. So Rishabh is just going to come in, of course. There he is, of course, speaking about the education sector, how much the education sector has been impacted by this current pandemic, by, of course, the lockdown. Because remember, of course, schools and colleges are still not officially open. So digital learning, e-learning, e-education is, of course, gaining a lot of ground. That's been growing by leaps and bounds. But otherwise, conventional schools, education, colleges, of course, are facing a very difficult time, remember. Yes, please go ahead.
So, the trajectory has been pretty much similar to what Rishabh has described. So when the lockdown happened, it was a downturn and immediately we see the hockey stick coming in. I think that's pretty much common for any edtech business which is out there right now. But in terms of, the way going ahead, I think, as again Rishabh said, it's a forced situation for teachers. And they are the most important aspect of any edtech model, if you talk about the teachers. So, I think we have to look at what kind of teachers are we talking about? Because in absolute terms, there's going to be a shortage of teachers in any economy, not only in India, right? But more importantly, we need to understand what's the quality of teachers that we are, getting ready. And if you look at, the kind of market we are in, so we are into higher education and skills. That's the top of the pyramid. If you come down, there's a,
All right. We will just get back to Ramandeep Arora in just a second. He's, of course, the co-founder and CEO of Advisor. He was telling us about their growth journey, about their growth story, about the impact, of course, as well on their business. Remember, of course, some businesses have profited from the financial stimulus package. Others have not. Clearly, they're, of course, hoping for further sort of incentives for them. Yes, Raman, please go ahead. I apologize. I think we're having some technical trouble, so we're going to keep, interjecting. Go ahead, Raman.
Yeah. So Anurag asked about the next 6 months. I feel.
You know what I want to ask you, Raman, is yes about the future. We know what's happened in the past.
Yes.
How do you see the future? And I would request each of the entrepreneurs on the panel to give us a sense through numbers. We know the context, we know the background. But give us a sense of specifics.
So in terms of numbers and how the future might look like, how I envision, EdTech to be, there's going to be an absolute shortage of teachers. You can't fill on a quantitative basis. If there are 9 million teachers in India, out of a billion people who are there, and maybe half of them are in the, that population which is targeted, that's a pretty low number. There may be a teacher for 100, 200, 500 people, right? I think this is where the technology would come in, where you'll see a lot of artificial intelligence, AI, which will help us to create solutions which can teach and serve the learners much better. Because the primary problem here is that, we need to understand what's the requirement of the student, first of all. Where are they coming from? And every mind is different. Every user is different, right? And everybody's learning speed or intellect and aptitude is different. So AI or a program can understand what's the learning track which is ideal for, say, Anurag or Rishabh or me, and then teach me accordingly. I think the future is going to be digital teachers. Somebody has to go out there and create a digital teacher one day, right? So that we can have, each one of us can have one personal teacher, but that's a long-term vision. In the shorter term, I think there's a lot of investment that should go into bringing up the quantity and quality of teachers, so that we can cater to the demand, because there's no shortage of demand in terms of learners.
Thank you so much. Kavita, I want to ask you, one, have you seen entrepreneurs around you benefiting from the economic stimulus? Second, what has happened to your business, and what is the pivot you are making to be able to be relevant in this new abnormal? There's nothing normal about what we do right now. So we'd love to know, Kavita, how your business is shaping and how do you see the future?
Okay, so I'll answer the first question first. Second question first. So as far as our business is concerned, we are a virtual try-on. So it's basically for the retail sector that, like now, because of COVID, as we said, nothing is normal. So even the buying pattern of consumers have changed. Now we are not seeing consumers going to a shop. Shops are doing they are trying to gain that trust. So what our technology is helping now is to help the contactless shopping. So you can try products before buying it. That is what our technology is. So yes, I would say that because of COVID, we have got a silver lining in our business. But what is the repercussion of it is, yes.
All right, we seem to have lost Kavita there, unfortunately. She was, of course, telling us, exactly as I told you earlier, the point I was making earlier. The fact is that, various entrepreneurs have, of course, been suffering. Certain of them, though, have been innovating, particularly the ones with the digital aspect or angle to their business. They've really been seeking to capitalize on the entire situation, and obviously have seen some sort of silver lining in the current crisis and the current problem. We're also going to, of course, speak to our entrepreneurs about how much the financial stimulus has helped them or how much it hasn't, which will give us a sense, of course, about how much of impact really that stimulus had, particularly, remember, for the MSME sector, particularly, of course, for entrepreneurs across the country, and all of them. Yes, Kavita, please go ahead.
I'm
And then what happens, startups like us or companies like entrepreneurs like us will get that stimulus to sell our technology, because what has happened because due to COVID, we are getting leads, we are getting customers' interest are there, but money is not there. So one aspect from government, what we need is that they need to create stimulus and packages which should help the startups to get it. Like, we cannot say that, we are being Atmanirbhar and then still go and buy a product from China, because China did that. They said that you should support local, and that's how China has grown. So in my opinion, I would say that we should create that Atmanirbhar, what is the theme, and then do it. Secondly, as far as virtual try-on is concerned, business-wise, Raman was mentioning that everything is going to be digital. So yes, what I feel is that technology is going to be like oxygen. It's going to be ubiquitous. It's going to be necessary. So what we need to do is create that awareness. And I think industry like NASSCOM and Startup India are doing the small initiatives, which is helping it. But government needs to really push that and then create those awareness so that digital adoption is faster. And then people get money into the business and then start using this technology. Because usually in India, we are not early adopters of technology. We usually take it at the end, when everybody adopts, we adopt.
And coming to you, Karthik, you heard Rishabh, Kavita and Raman share about their businesses. Tell us, what is the fundamental change your business has seen in the last 6 months? And what are you doing to be relevant in the future?
Well, to be honest, I've seen a couple of amazing ups and downs in the last 6 months. Our bread and butter is central air conditioning. We do central air conditioning in India, one of the largest for that. We started with our air purification vertical, which is into awareness, making people aware of such virus and bacteria that can affect our lives. And from December, I had started researching on this virus, and we went to US and did a lot of study over it. We started throwing out emails to Indian government to making aware of what is going to happen in this. So yes, the biggest aspect that I felt was working from home. For a manufacturer,
All right, Karthik's connection has been interrupted there. We will just get him back in a second. He was, of course, telling us about how much the manufacturing sector has also been affected by all of this. Clearly, of course, the manufacturing sector has had a big impact. It's clearly, of course, suffered quite a lot. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a very short break. We'll come back after the. Okay, we're back with Karthik. Yes, Karthik, go ahead.
yes. So I was focusing and talking about indoor air quality. People are working from home, but what is the desired air quality that is there? Talking about numbers like Anurag mentioned, well, every year we have 5 million deaths due to indoor air quality. And virus, bacteria, microbials are a part of indoor air quality that need to be taken care of. We are only focusing on PM 2.5 since the last 4 years. Suddenly this virus has hit us, and it is a microbial part, which is 0.012 microns, right? So we need to focus, and I am happy that now people are more aware that, I need to take care of the air that I breathe inside and outside. And wherever I travel, I have to be cautious and aware that today COVID's, tomorrow something else can hit us. So that is something that, we have seen in terms of awareness. Well, in terms of the changes in the company, I feel that, today we are a 1,000-member company. These are the guys who have built us and made us who we are today. Laying off people and pay cuts is not the solution. These are the people who have helped us grow, and they'll help us grow. We need to take out strategies in order to, come out together victorious. Well, we can do only handful, and rest together. We need to reunite as a country, as an economy. Well, we've seen in the second quarter a 24% downfall in the economy, which is 1/4 of the economy going down, right? So this is a collaborative affair and collaborative effort that we need to make as business leaders. Promote more investments in technology, promote more investments in startups, and layoff is not a solution. So that's the fundamental that we approached with, and we're still approaching. Yes, the business has gone down 30-35%. I see targets have gone down, but the approach and the vision still remains the same. That today one virus, tomorrow another can be hit. So it's better.
Karthik, I want to bring another dimension here. Day before yesterday, the Honorable Supreme Court heard a petition on the burning of, crop leftovers in Punjab. Now, if in the next 1 week that burning continues, the AQI will dip to levels that will be very bad. And along with the COVID, they could really complicate things. And we as a society are not focusing a lot on that, to prevent that. It happens every year. This year it's COVID. So COVID plus the burning, I think it could be a very negative input to both lives and livelihoods. What do you have to say to that, Karthik?
Well, I agree. The next 3 months are going to be very, very important as a community, especially in the northern India. Well, actually, the south of India is also facing a problem in PM levels. But north of India, yes, next 3 months are going to be very important. We have always focused on PM levels. Now there's a microbial hit as well that has come. So we need to make ourselves aware what are the technologies available to kill cross-contamination, to kill cross-infection. And we need to educate people that maybe these pollution levels, the AQI levels, are only encountering PM levels, which are dust, dander, pollen, up to 0.3 microns. Well, what we have today is bigger than that, is 0.012 micron. Tomorrow we might have gases, chemical gases, toxic gases which are released from different areas, dump areas in India, which are 0.0001 micron. There are areas. So we actually provide solutions to people, and we are trying since 10 years to make people aware. We've done multiple installations. We have products which have been approved for the first outbreak of SARS virus in 2003. That was in China. So we've been trying to make people aware that, you can have some technologies available in the market, available in the world, and every individual needs to act on it. Because, honestly, it's better to act on it today. We need to know the changing environment today. Otherwise, there might not be a tomorrow.
Okay. Now, let me ask a question to Rishabh. Rishabh, EduTech is seeing so much of clutter. Everyone wants to call their company EduTech. Okay. Because about $2 billion of investments have already come into education. More is expected. So, what do you think will separate the boys from men, or the girls from the ladies?
That's a wonderful question again, Anurag. Anurag, if you look at most of the EduTech, the companies that have really come up are those which focus not just on the tech part, but also on the ed part of EdTech. If I talk about the biggest boy right now, Byju's, what they really came up with was with the focus on education first, and then, of course, amazing marketing strategies around that. Similarly, everybody who's been focusing on using tech as a enabler.
Let's raise the point, Dr. Batra, with our guests on lockdown lessons. So, Rishabh, let's begin with you first, since we left you last just before the break. What's been a lockdown lesson for you? Now, one, of course, lockdown lesson has been, your business needs to be digital. We've seen any business with a digital component, ease back into its recovery mode, or in some businesses discover some new trends, particularly, of course, in e-learning, as we've just talked about on the panel today. So what's been a lockdown lesson for you guys? Let's begin with Rishabh Khanna.
Thank you so much, Deb. What this lockdown has really done is it has brought technology to the forefront, and technology always brings transparency. Technology has this one role that it has played over the last so many decades, that whichever field technology has come in, it brings in this clarity of what exactly happens in this industry. If I talk about e-learning, what really the lockdown has done is the parents are sitting with the kids today and really experiencing what the learner would have experienced in the school when the teacher was teaching, or what are the kind of assessments that are happening, or what exactly is the entire experience. So what it really did was it made that entire education system it brought it out in the open, and everybody was, people who were experts, what they had been saying for so long, it kind of was proved that yes, what they were saying was right. Second, people who are not even the experts in education are now commenting on education, are saying that this would work or this would not work. But I think the biggest challenge that we are going to face in the future, once there's a vaccine and once we go back to the industry, is people are going to challenge what has been accepted for so long. And as I was mentioning before, these millions of teachers, 77 million teachers in the world, when they go back to the school this time, it's not going to be the same. Their skill set would be very different. The skill set requirement will be very different. So what lockdown has really done, I think, for education industry is it has brought transparency and the skills required to whether become a teacher or to whether become a...
All right, unfortunately, we have lost Rishabh there once again. Right, we were, of course, talking to them about the lockdown lessons, of course, about what they've currently been learning through all of this, how that will actually help their businesses recover. So those, of course, were some of the conversations and talking points that we were drawing up. We normally, of course, also ask entrepreneurs and the business leaders with us about the fact that also how long they see the recovery happening in. Okay, I think our panelists are back with us. Yes, Kavita, you were answering that question. Go ahead.
Yes. So what I would say is that, as Rishabh highlighted, that technology has really become, the evolution which is causing the thing. So same thing for virtual try-on. What we see now is small retail shops are also ready to adopt this technology, and they are ready to use this to help their consumers. So I would say that for virtual try-on, this lockdown has become a silver lining.
Okay. Raman, what's your lockdown lesson?
I think for us, it has been, a lot of experiments to figure out what is the right way to learn and teach. This has been really important because immediately after lockdown, a lot of our users came online and they were spending more time on the platform. So, that's where we started doing a lot of these experiments, and we figured out that, live is much better than recorded. That is one theme for the future, that live engagement, like we're talking right now, this is much better than just looking at your video, right? Second is, smaller batch sizes or class sizes are the way to go. So we have seen, when the batch size is 50 or more users, the ratings are 3.5 or 3.7, but when it reduces to 10 or 12 people in a class, the ratings go to 4.5. And this also has a direct impact on the completion rate, how many people actually complete a program, right? Or they get ready. Because in India, what lockdown has also done is it has increased the trust that people had in online learning products. That is one. And, before that, there was always a question mark on how many people are actually completing the program and learning. What is the ultimate impact of any e-learning program? So I think the gift has been very simple. From e-learning, we are moving to live learning. And this has led to more engagement and completion, and hence more satisfaction for everyone in the community. Yeah.
Karthik Singhal, your lockdown lesson.
Well, there are two things that I learned really well. First is when we had normal phones and we shifted to smartphone, there was a decade, or I would say there were some years that we had. I was expecting us to go to e-learning and go to the digital market, but the COVID era has actually suddenly shifted everything in 3 months to online. So productivity increased with these webinars, and you don't have to travel that much. You don't have to go to one place to another. Everyone is available on webinars. So using this technology advancement in your own business, I have seen that. Educating people, my own people, on international guidelines to how to grow productivity within the teams has grown. Second, what I really realized was it's not the time to compete within the industry and within ourselves. It's time to synergize, and wherever you see this synergy happening, you collaborate and you grow. It's not the time to compete. So that was the second learning that I really found.
I want to ask all of you one question. I want to direct in a specific answer. Let me start with Kavita. When do you see the Indian economy coming back? In 6 months, 12 months, or 20 months?
And why? And why? Please elaborate on why.
Yes, so rightly so.
Okay. So I don't see it coming in next 6 months completely. Yes, it's going to start recovering, but I don't see it completely 6 months, because the challenge what we face is, yes, we have started using different avenues or technologies to get our business models right, or we have pivoted. But what is the challenge is that we need to get the stimulus or packages or money in the system. Like, for example, right now, if I sell my product, I would be, I have to reduce the price to get acceptance, because in the economy the money is not there, but people need it. So I would say that economy will be coming, will be reviving, but yes, 12 months should be a good period if government supports it and government creates those, what we are talking about it, make it local, vocal, make it Atmanirbhar. If those things are done, yes, I think 12 months should be a good time for us to revive. I think, yeah.
Thank you so much. Raman, when do you see the Indian economy coming back in full bloom? 6 months, 12 months, or 18 months?
Okay, so I am no astrologer, but what I can tell you is it all depends upon the actions which are being taken and the ground reality, how we can bridge that gap, right? So, for example, there's a lot of talk on stimulus, but in actual reality, not much money in the hands of people to consume. The banks have, RBI has reduced the interest rates. Banks should reduce the cost of loans. Businesses should take loans, invest more. But none of this is happening, very positively as of now, as far as I see it. And I think, this depends upon how fast the action is taken to put the money in the hands of the people. That is one. It can be even 3 months or 4 months. I don't know. What I know is that one, you need to put money in the hands of people. The consumption has to drive the demand cycle here. Second is, let's also talk about, how the government has taken a lot of steps to recover the revenues which are due. A lot of issues coming up in taxation and other areas. Whereas, at this point of time, I think we should be thinking more about socialism, where the government is supporting every, entrepreneur or small business out there. For example, as a parallel, I'll tell you, in US, there's a Small Business Administration which has launched a scheme of $350 billion of loans for startups and small businesses. There are 30 million small businesses in US. In India, that number would be more than 3 times in terms of number of small businesses. But, there is no direct scheme which is available to small businesses or startups, to access a liquidity facility to keep the payroll running, to keep the house in order till the time they are able to, get out of the situation. I think this might not be required for EdTech at right now, but if I look at the overall sector, I think it's important. You provide liquidity to businesses and to people, and I think rebound can happen as soon as that happens on the ground.
Thank you so much for explaining the reason why you think it will take a certain amount of time. Rishabh Khanna, when do you see the Indian economy back in full bloom?
Anurag, I'll give the number in the latter part of the half, but the first part I would say that, we are looking at a completely new way of living right now. And as Raman mentioned, there is no stimulus to the end consumer, because of which right now what's happening is the consumer, the end consumer, the people of India who are really the consumers of most of the services, the middle class, has really suffered a lot. And what has really happened because of that, what I believe is, there's a completely new way of living that is coming around. If we look closely in the society, people are adapting to new ways of shopping, to new ways of eating, to new ways of looking at life, new ways of education. And what I somehow believe, what will really drive economy back will be what exactly will be the psychology and behavior of the population, of Indian population, once either a vaccine comes out or once the fear which is there in the hearts of the people really subsides. Now, with the economic stimulus from the government, with various things that, with what government really proposes for masses, that will then add to the economic growth. But then I think it will take time. It might take 12 to 18 months easily, because bringing them back to that consumerist behavior where people start spending money even after having money in their hands might take time. So I think it might be around 18 months.
And Karthik Singhal, your point of view?
Well, yes, if we continue to go with Atmanirbhar Bharat, it's pretty early to say about the economy coming back to power or its position. But I feel with our Corona warriors today, everyone is a Corona warrior. We're all fighting the same cause. And if we fight with the same synergy that is there with supporting the government, I feel there are different industries which will grow faster, which will help us get to our economy at a greater pace. The government has invested a lot in healthcare sector. If we look at in the 9 months, the healthcare sector, how we have grown, post-COVID era, we'll be ready for most of these microbials hitting our country.
Okay.
So I feel that is one. Then the national education policy coming out, that is a very big boost. Then
But give me a sense, 6, 12 or 18 months, Karthik?
more than that.
More than 18 months?
You said 12 or 18 months. Yes, I feel to get back to every industry, because there are some industries that are going to wipe out.
That I agree. This is called the K-shaped recovery. Certain industries will recover faster, and the certain industries will take longer or continue to.
All right. So that, of course, was our special show today on the Indian economy. We're going to have to leave it at that. My thanks to all of our guests who joined us today.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.